Hey everyone, Michael O'Brien here, and today we're going to talk about technology and whether or not it's ruining magic. Hello my friends, and welcome back to another episode of Advice for Magicians, where my job is to make you the best possible entertainers that you can be. Now in today's video I wanted to discuss technology and magic, and when I say technology, I'm talking about magic effects that are performed on smartphones or use some kind of secret electronic gadget to perform the effect that many of us have performed over the years manually, right? So using peaking devices or printers or things like this, instead of using old-fashioned peaks, center tears, things like this, right? A perfect example is Leviosa by João Miranda. If not familiar with it, basically it's a haunted deck style routine using IT, except everything has been electronically designed, so it does all of the work for you, with that added benefit of being able to click your fingers and have the deck of cards rise right up and into your hands, which is something that you couldn't do with just a standard IT reel, right? So technology-based magic tricks. And a lot of the times when the discussion around technology-based magic tricks comes up, the number one culprit that people complain about are like phone magic, smart devices, things like this, right? So for example, I have here on my phone right now 1, 2, 3, 4 different magic effects that I could use, right? So for example, I'll just do a little shameless plug here. I have my travel themed thing, Final Destination, on my phone, right? Where they can choose a destination location, an origin city, and like put together a whole travel thing. They can choose an airline that they want to fly on, and then they choose one of these boarding pass things, right? And if you look closely on the boarding pass, so for example, let's just say they were to land on Virgin Atlantic, right? New York to London is the prediction, and then they're going to see that the fair choice that they had predicted that New York to London was going to be where they were going to go, right? So I actually had someone reach out to me recently, and they're like, is there any way to do Final Destination without using your phone? And I'm like, but that's the trick. It uses your phone, that's the method. And they were like, yeah, but I don't like using phones when it comes to magic, because if you don't have like good reception, or like if your phone freezes, the trick doesn't work. But then also spectators think it's fishy or suspicious because it uses your phone. They're like, I would much rather just use a deck of cards and have people choose, you know, like if it was a deck of cards with a bunch of different cities on them, right? To choose from the deck of cards, and then to have like the physical boarding pass and be like, look it matches, isn't that cool, right? And they're like, I would rather do that. And I'm like, well, you can do that if you want, but then it just wouldn't be this trick. And the reason that this is so fun for me is because I always have my phone on me, so it becomes an everyday carry, something I can just have in my pocket, right? So now the question becomes, what are the pros and what are the cons of having these electronic type things that are like done on your phone versus having the physical item, right? So usually the electronic version of certain things, depending on what it is, tends to be more expensive, right? Again, I'll throw João Miranda's name out there, and this is not me talking smack at all. I think he's a brilliant magic inventor, but a lot of the products that he puts out are very, very expensive. The Leviosa that I was telling you about, I believe was on the market for $200 or $250, somewhere in that range. And that's on the low end of how expensive some of his products are. Some of his products are like $1,000, $1,500, right? To be able to do something like he put out a product not too long ago that's essentially a wallet that will predict anything that you want. So you can say, where did you have lunch today? Anywhere in particular? And they'll be like, oh yeah, I had lunch at Red Lobster. Oh cool, what did you get? I got crab cakes, and I got a lobster, obviously, and a side of fries. Oh, perfect, that's really cool. And who did you go with? Oh, I went with my wife, Sarah. Oh, perfect, awesome. You know what? I knew that you were going to do that because in my wallet, I have here a business card. You can see it's got all my information on it. But if you look on the back of the business card, it says, today, Michael O'Brien will explain to you about your day going to Red Lobster and ordering this, this, and this with your wife, Sarah. I hope you enjoyed it, or something like that. I don't know, you can make it say whatever you want. And it's because the wallet did all of that for you, right? So how freaking cool is that? Now you might be saying, oh, that's really cool, but is there a way to do that without the wallet? And yes, there technically is. People have been doing these sorts of confabulation style things, writing with nail writers and all of that stuff for years. None of this is new. This is all stuff that's been done before. And so, and so now it's a situation where you're like, do I want to pay more money to have the thing automated, or do I want to pay less money and it takes a lot more practice? Hey everyone, so sorry for the interruption. I just wanted to take a quick minute to thank the newest members of the mob for joining. Thank you guys so much. It's because of you that I'm truly able to keep this channel going. You're gonna get early access to videos, you're gonna access tutorials, lectures, and even get one-on-one access with me where you can pick my brain about anything that you like. If you guys would like to join them and become a member of the mob, please click the join button, or you can click the membership tab right here on the channel for more information. If you guys would like to see some more awesome magic, please head over to my online magic shop at o'brienmagic.com. And as always, if you enjoy these videos, please go ahead and click the subscribe button and ring the bell so that you'll be notified every time I upload a new video. Thank you so much for the interruption. And now back to the video. So more money, have the thing automated, less money, it takes a lot more practice. Now, this has created a sort of divide in the magic community as well, where a lot of people will say, it's not real magic if it's automated, right? So here's another perfect example. Will Tsai performed a piece of magic called the Matrix, right? Where you wave your hands and coins teleport from corner of the table to another corner of the table. And he performed this on America's Got Talent. Then he went on to wave his hand over the coins and change them all into rose petals, right? So it was called the Rose Act, was the name of the effect. Now, after America's Got Talent, this became a marketed thing that you can go out and buy. And basically what it is it's a heavily gimmicked table that does most of the work for you. So you're not even touching the coins. You're waving your hands over the table and activating the gimmick on the table to make it look like the coins are jumping from spot to spot, right? You get this whole table, it's all set up, ready to go, and it's like $500 for this thing. Or you can learn how to perform shadow coins, or like a coin matrix type effect that just uses coins and no gimmick, and now you can go out and you can do it anywhere that you want, right? So the question now becomes, well, do I just learn shadow coins or some other, manually operated coin matrix thing? Or do I go out and I buy this custom gimmicked table that does all of that work for me? And now you're thinking, well, what are the pros and what are the cons? We already talked about the money and the skill, right? Those are the two things. So it's a lot easier to use the table, but it costs $300. Or you just buy like a $10 download and you practice and you learn the skills necessary to be able to do that. But there's another thing now, and this is something that I think, in my opinion, really makes something a deal breaker or not. And that is, does it increase the level of impossibility, right? So going back to the Will Tsai situation, it's like the Rose Act, the Matrix coin table. He waves his hand without touching the coins and the coins teleport. Then he just clicks his fingers and they all backfire very instantly and very visually back to their respective corners, right? So it's not something that you can do with just normal coins. This is only something you can do with this table that has been gimmicked this way, right? Or something similar to it if you wanted to come up with your own method of doing it. It's not something that you can do with just 4 coins and just your hands, right? So it increases the impossibility. It's visual. You click your fingers and the coins backfire. Going back to the Jao Miranda thing with the wallet, could you do this with a nail writer? You absolutely could. While you're talking to them, you're holding the business card and you're using your thumb to put the information that they're telling you on the card, right? This is something that has been done for years. Or you can have an envelope that you're just holding the whole time and you reach into the envelope and you pull out the card, right? But with the gimmick, the Jal Miranda gimmick now, you don't have to do anything. Your hands are up here, you reach into your wallet and you just pull out a business card and you hand it to them and they turn it over and they can read everything that's there. Because it's all automatic, it's been done for you. You don't have to do anything. All of the skill and all of the setup is performance-based. It's not necessarily like learning a technical skill. Does it still take practice? Absolutely. You have to go out, you have to work on timing, you have to work on, you know, presentation, you have to work on your pattern, you have to have the confidence to perform with the thing, right? It's not necessarily simple. It's simplified, but it's not necessarily easy, right? So for me, the three big things to think about when it comes to technology and whether or not using a technology-based effect over a manually operated based effect makes sense is number one, the cost. Number two, the amount of practice, skill, and or dedication that's put into the thing. And then number three, does it increase the level of impossibility or does it make the magic better, right? So again, that thing, if it's like way too expensive for me, I'm not gonna be able to afford it. $1,500 to essentially do a nail writer prediction, I don't know if I can justify that. If I can afford it, then heck yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Why wouldn't I? Because it's gonna make it more impossible and it's gonna make it easier for me, right? Or let's just say the thing maybe not too expensive, but man, like I just don't get it. This technology thing, it's like a lot that I have to memorize and I have to set all of this stuff up and I'm not very computer savvy and I have to do all this technical mumbo jumbo and I'm over here just like some guy that doesn't even have any of the bells and whistles set up on his iPhone, right? I use my phone to make phone calls and to browse the internet and that's about it, right? Is it going to be too hard for me to grasp and to be able to figure it out? That's another thing that you have to consider. Or does it increase the level of impossibility? Am I going to spend all of this extra money to have this thing that does essentially the same thing that something else already does? Is it worth it to invest all of that money into that thing if I can just do this thing, right? So here's an example. Let's just say there is a product on the market where you give someone a pad. It looks like a stack of index paper or post-it notes, excuse me. It's a little stack of post-it notes. They take a pen, they write on it, and you're standing over there in the corner and you're like going like this so that you can't see, right, blah, blah, blah. And what's actually happening is they're writing on the pen and it's an impression pad that is sending a signal to your Apple Watch and you're watching in real time what they are writing down on the paper, right? So now you'll say, perfect, go ahead and take that sticky note, crumple it into a ball and stick it in your pocket so I can't see it, but you're already so far ahead because you already know what it is that they're thinking of, right? Now, let's just say you did that, or you hand them a regular stack of Post-its that you just went to Staples and you got, and a pen, and you have them write something down, take that off, fold it up into quarters, and you'd say, okay, hold it up in the light so you can see that you can't see through it, right? And they can see that they can't see through it. And you say, you know what, we're just gonna destroy this. We're gonna tear it up. I'm gonna give you the torn up pieces, and I'm gonna have you hold on to those torn up pieces for me, right? And then you do a center tear peek, and now you know what it is that they're thinking of. And it cost you $1.50 for a stack of Post-it notes at Staples. But you have to practice your center tear, you have to do the slight, you have to get your peek. Whereas the technology-based version where you're just looking at your watch, it gives you all of that information and you don't have to touch anything. They can crumple it up and stick it in their pocket on their own. So you have to think in your mind now, is it worth it? Does the ability to be able to do X, Y, or Z outweigh the cost, and does it make it more impossible? So you tell me, do you think that technology is ruining magic? I don't think technology is ruining magic. I just really think that it depends, right? And then the last thing that I'll say about this is the notion that spectators understand that technology is able to do more and more advanced things these days, right? So for example, a good friend of mine, David Jonathan, is coming out with a brand new product called Decode, right? And basically what this is, stand by for a review, by the way, I'll be doing a review of this. Basically what this is an application that's on your phone that allows you to do any kind of prediction that you want, and then when you scan a barcode or a QR code, it's going to take you to that prediction. So for example, let's just say I ask the spectator to think of their favorite celebrity, and they think of Tom Cruise. I say, look, we have a QR code here. It's an IMDb QR code. You can see it says IMDb right there. Here, go ahead and take the phone and just scan that QR code. And they scan it, and it takes them to the IMDb page for Tom Cruise, or the celebrity, whoever it was that they were thinking of, right? That's pretty cool. Some people might think, oh, well, did you do something because of your phone? Like, it's a phone, so maybe scanning that QR code, maybe you were able to secretly type Tom Cruise. Or maybe someone says Tom Cruise out loud, and you just click the Siri button, Tom Cruise, right? And so now it just does, here, we'll do that. We'll see if we can do that. Tom Cruise, right? And then boom, Siri takes me to the Tom Cruise thing. So people know that you can do sort of stuff like this with technology. And so now it becomes a situation where you have one of two options. Option number one, you just don't use the technology because too many people are able to understand that things like Siri exist, for example. Or you find ways to overcome it. So let's go back to the David Jonathan thing now, right? So we're talking about Decode. So now, let's just say, again, the celebrity thing, right? So you click celebrities. What you can do now is you can have it set in such a way that the spectator doesn't say anything. They write it down on a piece of paper, and you can even tell them from the start, don't say anything out loud, because I don't want you to think I'm just activating Siri, because that's how a lot of people think that this works, and I don't want you to think that that's how this is done. This is legit. And now you've just closed that door in their mind that you're using Siri, right? You want to think about this much in the same way that you would anything that you're performing. Let's just say you're doing a book test with a paperback book, right? You don't want them to think that you're peeking. So what you're going to do, you're not going to look at the book. You're going to look away. You're going to say, look, I'm not even going to look. Keep me honest. I don't peek, right? And you're going to do everything that you can to prove that you're not doing the thing that they're going to accuse you of. Well, with technology, it's the exact same thing. You just got to think, what is the spectator going to think is happening? They think that I'm using Siri? Don't have them say anything. Have them write it down instead, right? Oh, you need to use your Notes app to input information? Don't use your Notes app, because maybe people might think that I have a shortcut set up or something that just reads the notes and then does a Google search for that. So have them write it down on a piece of paper, right? Have them whisper it to another friend or a spectator, something like that, right? Don't have them write it down. Come up with your own way to make it work, and it's going to be so much fun. And speaking of Decode, I'm just going to say I've been playing with this. This isn't out yet. David was very kind to give this to me. I've been playing with Decode, and I've tried a few different ways of presenting it. And what I can say is that the reactions that you get from this are incredible, even though it's almost 100% self-contained on my phone. I say almost 100% because you're scanning a code. You're scanning a barcode or a QR code. So you have to have a barcode to scan in order to do it. But the method is all self-contained on your phone, and the spectators lose their mind when the celebrity that they were merely thinking of, or the card that they were thinking of, or the number that they were thinking of, or the item off the shelf at the grocery store that they were thinking of appears on the phone, and they just lose their mind, especially when they don't say anything out loud and they don't touch your phone. And you don't touch your phone. Your phone is just there the whole time. You just pick up your phone, open the scanner, scan the thing, and then boom, it does the prediction. So the fact that it's on a phone, does it make it less impressive? No, in many cases it makes it more impressive. So I know I've rambled on now. This is probably going to be like a 20-25 minute video, but to go back to the original question, is technology ruining magic? I don't think it is, I think bad magic performances using technology are pretty bad for magic. But it's up to you to decide, right? And again, it all depends on the price. It depends on how practical the thing is to use, and it depends on, does it enhance the magic? If it doesn't do any of those things, best to skip it and look for something else. But what are your thoughts? Let me know in the comment section below. Let me know if you guys are excited to talk about Decode. I'll be doing a review of that soon. Let me know if you guys are using Final Destination and what you think of that, my airline travel themed strolling confabulation effect that takes place on the phone. Let me know about those things and give me your thoughts on technology and magic and whether you think it's ruining magic or not. Until then, I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.